everyone. Welcome back to AWS On Air. My name is Kunal Batra. I'm a senior developer advocate here at AWS. I'm joined by my co-host, Kris Howard. And we have a special team for us from the EC2 team. I'll let you guys talk about this, but what did we launch here at reInvent?
So Kunal, thank you. And we are super excited to announce the launch of Amazon EC2 M1 Mac instances. They are now available in preview. And last year at reInvent, at Midnight Madness, we launched EC2 Mac instances, which were built on x86-based Apple Mac Minis. This year, we have taken it a step further with EC2 M1 Mac instances that are built on Apple Mac Mini, which has Apple's own custom silicon. And we are super excited to get this in the hands of all Apple developers.
And just really quickly, I was so excited about this service that I actually just forgot to let you guys introduce yourselves. So why don't we start off with that, and then we'll talk about how
right into the announcements.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So hi, everyone. I'm Manish Rathaur. I'm the Principal Product Manager with EC2, and I own the roadmap and the portfolio for EC2 Mac.
And my name is Trevor Roberts. I'm a specialist solutions architect for EC2 Nitro platforms, including the EC2 Mac service.
And I'm Kris. I'm Kris Howard. I'm a manager in the developer relations team. Really excited to hear more about this.
Awesome.
Same. So this was launched last year at reInvent for the Mac instances, right?
We launched it for Intel-based Apple Mac Mini computers.
And then this year's M1.
Yeah.
Perfect. Can you talk a little bit about, because this is such a big launch, like I never would have thought that we would have this on AWS, as an EC2 instance. So you can talk a little bit about what are the benefits of the M1 instances for our developers, or Mac instances in general for our developers?
Awesome. So first, we can talk about like the benefits in general of having Apple computers in the AWS cloud. So for the longest period of time, like since Apple launched iPhone back in 2006, and then a few years later, they opened up the App Store. Like today, you have a community of 28 million Apple developers, more than 1 million apps, today on the App Store. Like all these Apple development teams, like developing, building, testing, and signing apps for Apple platforms, they rely on developer tooling provided by Apple, such as Xcode. And Xcode is supported only on macOS. And to be able to run macOS, not just on the cloud, but anywhere else, you need to run it on branded Apple hardware. So you can think like for the longest period of time, we had all these customers who had completely modernized their Linux and Windows, and for other platforms, their CI/CD pipelines. But when it came to iPhone and iPads and MacBooks, apps there, they were running those on Mac, sitting in a closet within their office or their own on-premise data center. And the development practices tended to be pretty rudimentary. Like they couldn't leverage the elasticity, scalability, be able to leverage all those services. So with EC2 Mac, the question we asked ourselves is, can we solve that pain point for our customers? Can we bring Apple developers to the revolution that is happening with cloud and all the developer productivity that we now enable for all our customers? And can we make it really exciting and really convenient for Apple developers to be able to build in the cloud? And that is how EC2 Mac was born, which is like customers can leverage the elasticity, the scalability, the reliability, and integration with multiple AWS services like Elastic Block Store for scalable storage, like identity and access management, or IAM roles for granular permissions, like virtual private cloud or VPC for network security. Like things that we take for granted for customers running on our Linux or our Windows platform, like those are a step function improvement in the Apple developer experience that we enable with EC2 Mac. And like now these developers can quickly provision macOS environments in seconds rather than putting in a purchase order and waiting for weeks. If, say for example, their application takes off and they have to support like multiple builds in a day, they can quickly scale up that capacity when they're not needing it scaled down. all the benefits of the AWS cloud kind of transcend to Apple developers now with EC2 Mac instances. And this is a benefit that is consistent across both our Intel or x86 based EC2 Mac instances and the M1 Mac instances that we launched today. Now, what is unique about the M1 Mac instances that we launched today is it's based on Apple's M1 chip. This is Apple's own custom designed silicon that they launched last year, and with that launch, Apple also announced a transition to their own custom silicon for their entire Mac lineup over the next 2 years. So, like your MacBooks out here, if they're running Intel, very soon all the next generation of Macs is going to be running on their own custom silicon. And interestingly, their new custom silicon supports ARM64 architecture, which is similar to like what we have today with Graviton. So there are two primary reasons for why Apple developers have been asking us nonstop over the last 1 year that they want M1 Mac Mini based EC2 instances. The very first is basically just the performance. Like these new custom silicon from Apple is super powerful, combines numerous technologies into one, based on like when we ran the benchmarks for normal application builds compared to previous generation Mac instances, Intel-based versus Apple Silicon-based Mac instances, which is or M1. Like we saw, like developers can enjoy like 60% better price performance on M1 Mac instances compared to x86-based Mac instances. So that's the first benefit. And the second benefit is if Apple developers have applications that are running on Mac OS. Like on Mac OS, there's a Mac store, and they have applications, productivity, games, and whatnot. Those developers need to transition their applications to be able to natively support Apple Silicon. That requires the dependency on the microcode, or like previously it was x86, now it is ARM architecture. These developers need to re-architect and be able to support native Apple Silicon to be able to get full performance. And to be able to do that, you need the ability to be able to spin up ARM64 macOS environments on demand. Like you're architecting, you're testing a new feature, you have an entire test suite that you want to run. You don't want to run emulations and whatnot. You want to run it on actual environment in which your customers are going to be using. Now with the EC2 M1 Mac instances, like spinning up ARM64 macOS environment is like simple mouse clicks or a simple API call.
Yeah.
So those are the two primary benefits that we have enabled for our Apple developer community with the launch of M1 Mac instances today.
That's amazing. Can I just add one more benefit to that?
Sure.
You're taking away that capital expenditure, right? So no longer you have to buy those instances. You mentioned that they had it in their closets, in their own data centers. They no longer have to purchase that hardware. Now they can take advantage of pay-as-you-go through us, and more of an operating expense from a CapEx cost.
Oh, absolutely. And I think more than the CapEx cost, it's basically the operational overhead of basically, like, if you think about a small development team, possibly they're building the next big game. They have their build fleet like sitting in an office, but because of COVID restrictions, like everybody is distributed remotely.
Yeah.
And if there is like a power outage and those Macs need to be brought online, then like we have heard it time and again that it is super hard for somebody to actually go there and bring that fleet online. And like our goal is basically, we have years of experience managing infrastructure, and any time that an Apple developer has to manage and run that infrastructure in a lights out environment, that time gets taken away from them being able to do something more productive or deliver the next great feature for their application. And we think like by taking away that undifferentiated heavy lifting and them offloading it to AWS, it's basically a win-win for all of us.
Can we see it?
Yes, please, let's see this.
I know Trevor's sitting here so patiently. I want to see it.
All right, thank you. So I'm ready to start showing what we're talking about here with the EC2 Mac system. And right now I'm sharing a slide of what the actual hardware looks like. So for any folks who may have missed the launch announcement last year, you can see on the screen that we literally have servers with our Nitro hardware that is connected directly into a real Mac Mini. And so with that connection to our infrastructure, the Mac Minis are able to take advantage of up to 10 gigabits per second of networking speed, 8 gigabits per second of EBS storage bandwidth, and then all of the benefits that come with being part of a VPC on AWS, including security groups, having that fine-grained control. So now that we've seen what the hardware looks like, I'd like to switch over to a couple of environments that I have, and just to highlight the benefits that we're getting for working with the M1 CPU instead of the in addition to the x86 CPU. Developers will start to see benefits in the way of performance, and I'm going to show a test application being compiled, and it's very simple, just a very small dialogue, but it has enough build time to show a difference. So I'll go ahead and run that build script first on an Intel x86 based Mac Mini, and then I'll switch over to the M1. So this is just going to run some automation to then go ahead and show us the build time at the end. And it'll take a few seconds, and then we'll see the results. So we see here that I won't go into all of the statistics, but we'll just take a look at the real time that you see there. That statistic showing 7.8 seconds. Now I'm going to go ahead and switch over to an M1 Mac and show what that build experience looks like over there. Okay, so I'll go ahead and run that same script. It's going to be the same exact software repository, no optimizations. I'll go ahead and run that.
So just running the exact same thing on the
Same
other type.
exact
All
thing.
right.
Yeah, Kris, it's literally apples to apples comparison.
Yeah. Okay. Because you know, my next question is going to be, should everybody immediately switch over?
Yeah, let me go ahead and run that again, because there may be something problem with the internet.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I can show my
That's
results
better.
that I had before.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go.
Okay, so we saw before it was 7 point something seconds. Over here with the M1 CPU, we're having 3.5 seconds. So I'm seeing an average in reduction between 40% to 50% of my build times. And again, this is a very simple application. For customers who have more complex requirements, they might be seeing around that same type of time savings or even better. So we're really excited about this release, and thankful for all the work that went into it, and we're looking to get customers excited and on this platform as soon as possible.
So just quick question here. Can I do everything I can do with another EC2 instance with the M1 instance, like snapshots, restores? Is it work the same exact way? Are there any differences?
Oh,
yeah, so EC2 Mac is EC2, right? So the same things such as creating custom AMIs, creating snapshots of running instances, being able to have security groups, as I mentioned before. Really no difference in the experience, including working with auto-scaling groups. And that's a popular feature that some of the customers who have large build environments, they're continuously running builds, they like to expand or shrink the amount of instances they're using based on the number of build jobs. And we have customers who are talking about that, and we have some videos and case studies that customers can go ahead and take a look at to learn more.
So should everybody switch over? Should they give it a try?
Yes, we have the preview link up and running, so by all means, please go to the website, the launch announcement site, and sign up for the preview, and let us know what you think of the service once you get started.
That's
yeah, and
fantastic.
Kris, just to add to that, because the EC2 M1 Mac is a different architecture compared to the x86 based Mac instances. Like Apple actually launched an entire new translation app that they call Rosetta 2, which is amazing. It works great to get application compiled for x86 to run on M1 Apple Silicon. But then, you know, when we look at our customers and we see their entire CI/CD pipeline, there are quite a few dependencies on libraries and applications that might not have, that might require some re-architecture before they actually are able to move completely. So again, when you talk to customers, there are priorities, like if you're just building for iPhones you don't need to natively support Mac OS or Apple Macs, then you can continue building it on Intel-based Macs. And it comes down to what your own priorities are. Do you want to invest in re-architecture versus and move to native silicon versus, hey, we have this new great app feature coming soon that we want to prioritize. Second thing that we should be calling out is these only support 16 gigs of unified memory versus compared to 32 gigs on the x86-based Mac instances. So it's a much more performant memory, but then at the same time, if you are a Apple developer or you're a games developer that has a lot of like in-game videos and so on bundled into a large binary, then that RAM limitation might actually not give you the desired performance improvement that you would want. In that case, you would just want to continue using the x86. Like at the end of the day, our goal is to keep up or exceed Apple's innovation and make sure our customers have sufficient choice and make it easy for them to select the right EC2 Mac instances based on their requirements.
So the x86 is staying. It's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere.
That's cool.
Nice. Quick question. You showed that slide in the beginning, right? Where the Mac Mini was there. And can you just talk a little bit about what I'm looking at here? I'm guessing that's you have the Mac Mini. What else am I looking at?
Yeah, so you'll see the Mac Mini sitting up there at the back of the machine, and then you'll see specialized cards in the front. That's our Nitro hardware.
Got it.
That really enables us to diversify our offerings. So we're no longer just doing standard instance types. We're able to offer bare metal instances. We're able to offer VMware-based instances. So with this, we have the Mac Mini connecting with Thunderbolt cables into our Nitro cards to give them that connectivity to the AWS environment.
And the beautiful part about this is like the way we have implemented this or like enabled a Mac Mini as an AWS EC2 instance that the Mac Mini doesn't know that it is an AWS data center.
Right.
It literally thinks it's sitting...
just like a normal Mac Mini that you could...
Exactly.
And basically the way we implement networking and storage is we implement the PCI interface over Thunderbolt. So the Mac Mini thinks whenever a customer launches an instance with an EBS volume, it literally thinks that within the Mac Mini, somebody inserted an external SSD that had a bootable volume and told the Mac Mini to boot off that.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So if you want a Mac Mini with 2 terabytes of storage, feel free to do that with EBS.
Just quickly, any other interesting challenges by not using custom hardware, by using that Mac Mini? Like, for example, how does this turn on and off, right?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. And I think we didn't cover it today, but in last year, Peter DeSantis' keynote where he talked about how we took Mac Mini and enabled it as an EC2 instance, there's literally a solenoid and a robot finger that we programmatically call to be able to power on and power off the Mac Mini.
So somebody doesn't have to open it up and push the button. That's so neat.
That's great.
It's AI and robotics like in real life action. The challenge we had at how to make it reliable at an AWS scale, but I think our awesome engineering and the awesome engineers eventually got us past that goalpost.
So was this something that as soon as it was announced, customers started asking for, or is it something that you just knew that we would want to support for them?
Oh, it was like back in, I believe, late 2018 when Apple launched the new Mac Mini is when we started looking into this. And the interesting part is, for the longest period of time, there was an assumption that we can't support macOS on AWS because it can only run on branded Apple hardware. So a lot of times we realized the customers had this problem, but they didn't even used to ask it for. They were like, of course, AWS cannot support it. But when we started digging, when we started talking to them, they were like, oh God, please, yes.
Yeah.
Because interestingly, like when we talk to our customers, we are like, nobody wants to, like everybody loves a personal Mac computer. It's awesome. It's been a productivity boost for so long. At the same time, not a lot of customers want to manage that build farms because it's super hard. It's compared to like our different servers that we have that are designed for data center. These are not. So how do you monitor them? How do you actually exercise life cycles so being able to turn on and turn off? The same challenges we face are the ones these customers face. A lot of customers used to run a virtualization layer at top of this, but it used to be a challenge. With EC2 Mac, what we did is we gave them the same convenience, same EC2 APIs, but the bare metal performance on an Apple Mac computer.
I think we
we're
have to
gonna
wrap it up.
Yeah, we have to wrap up. Thank
We
you
could
so
listen
much.
to you all day.
I know, this was a good session. Thank you for being here. This is a great launch. Thank you guys.
Thanks for the demo.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.